Okay, the last part of our fixed PowerPoints is how to connect to DranXperT. And this is worthy of just a short discussion because you do need just a slight amount of knowledge on Ethernet networks to do this. This is commonplace for a lot of us, but some of us don't really have a background in this. So we're going to give you some basics on what you need to know. And it is, of course, backed up by a full description in our quick reference guide that I was referring to before. So when you connect with DranXperT, you of course need an Ethernet connection. And that Ethernet connection can be as simple as a short patch cable from DranXperT over to your computer. So maybe take out the words Ethernet here and put a laptop over here or a desktop. You can have a one-to-one connection. It can also connect to your local network. It can connect to a corporate or building network, cellular routers, and the internet. So the most basic way here is with a direct connection to your computer. And you may have to consult your IT department if you don't have authority to connect to your local network or your corporate or your building network. So like any network device, and what I mean is your computers, your printers, anything that connects to any network with an RJ45 connection, an Ethernet IP network, you're going to need an IP address. And that's basically how the device is found on the network, okay? The default factory IP address is 192.168.0.40. Well, you can change that, but by default, the first connection is that. Now, in order to communicate with this, you need to most likely change the IP address on your computer so you can talk directly to DranXperT. In your computer's network, for the first time again, when DranXperT comes from the factory, your computer's network settings need to be changed to be on the same network. And what that really means practically is you change your computer's network to 192.168.0. anything but 40 in the range from 1 to 254. Okay, that number is completely arbitrary when you're doing a one-to-one connection. And that's when you would connect to DranXperT for the first time. And that is done just via a web browser. Once you've connected to DranXperT, you can certainly keep the IP address exactly the same. However, at that time, is when you can change it to maybe a static IP address. That's what this is called. When you give the meter, it's an exact IP address. And if you're going to go on a corporate network, you'd probably have to consult with your IT folks on what an appropriate IP address is. Or you can change it to DHCP, Dynamic Host Control Protocol, which basically means just like any computer or printer, it gets its IP address from the network. And how is all that stuff done? Basically, just follow the simple instructions, which are beyond the time we have here. On page 14 of the quick reference guide, it gives you a very brief procedure if you don't know how to change the Ethernet IP address of your computer to do this. And by the way, once you do this as a one-time only basis, if it was set to another setting, we recommend that you write that down before you make your change so you can restore your computer back to that. So this is the information that you need to connect to DranXperT. Once you have made that initial connection, then you just simply open your web browser and enter DranXperT's default IP address. So you'd open Chrome, Mozilla, Edge, whatever you may have on your desktop, laptop, or smartphone possibly. Enter this IP address as an example, and then you will see the DranXperT webpage. And then you can follow the instructions in our quick reference guide to go change that IP address to anything that you may want on your network.